In today's lecture, we are going to see the introduction part. In the last class, we have seen about the overall syllabus and what are the program outcomes and the course outcomes and course objectives. So, before starting every class, I would like to say that I am going to achieve some lecture outcomes. So, in this lecture, I am going to achieve all these outcomes. So, at the end of this lecture, you will be able to define estimation and costing, and you will be able to state the importance and purpose of estimation, find the data required to prepare an estimate, and explain the breakdown structure of estimation. At last, choosing the units of measurement for different items of work for a construction project. So these are some of the lecture outcomes which you are going to achieve in this particular class. Okay, next. So coming to the definition of estimation and costing. So basically, estimating is a technique for calculating and computing various quantities and the expected expenditure to be incurred in a particular project. So it involves majorly the quantities, the various quantities and the expenditures. So that is why it is estimating and costing. Okay. So it can be various building components. So here we can see various building components. So various building components combined together and their expenditures. So that we'll call it as estimation and costing. So sometimes what might happen is before estimating only we will see that the project might go beyond the expectation, or it can be below the expectation. So at that time, so when the funds, in the case of funds available are less than the estimated cost, you estimated that this particular building costs some 30 lakhs, but the thing is that you don't have that budget. Okay, you have to complete it some say 25 or 24 lakhs. So 25 lakhs, then you need to work out on this. Say for example, when you are going for a flooring, instead of marble flooring we can go for a tiled flooring, which costs very less. Other than going for woodwork, we can go for normal plywood work. Okay, so by making such kind of a changes, by estimating the things, we can reduce the cost of the entire building. Okay, so by making some changes in the plans, it can be in the drawings, it can be in the specifications part. So we can do this estimating and costing. So the basic definition is, it is a technique for calculating the quantities and the expenditure, that is cost of a particular project. So this is the major definition of estimating. Next, the data required to prepare an estimate. So basically we need some data to prepare an estimate. Okay, so the major estimates here are the major tools are the drawings. So you know about drawings. So you need a plan, elevation, section of many important points. Say for example, you take this. So here you can see the plan, elevations, and some sort of sections also. So with these drawings, we can easily prepare the estimate of that particular thing. Okay, so this is the major component of getting an estimate. Next, second one is a detailed specification. So basically specifications are two types. One is a normal specification and a detailed specification. So when in a normal specification, we can go for a small thing. Say for example, if you want concrete, you can approximately say this much amount of overall content of materials or manpower is required. But in detailed specification, you need to be specific. How much amount of cement is required precisely, how much amount of aggregate is required, how much amount of coarse aggregate is required. So all these detailed specifications are to be compulsory. And see, for example, here we have taken a cross section of this foundation. Okay, so in the foundation part, you can clearly see. So in the foundation part, you can clearly see the details. See here, mass concreting, it has given 1:3:6. That means with the detailed specification, saying 1 bag of cement is to 3 bags of fine aggregate, that is sand, and 6 parts of coarse aggregate. Okay, so this is a detailed specification. So along with this, the detailed specifications are very much essential in order to find out the estimate. So this is one of the major data required for preparing the estimate. And the last one is standard schedule of rates. So which I have already discussed in the last class. So of that particular year, say sometimes governments may not release for every year. So we'll call it as SOR, SOR or SSR. Okay, schedule of rates. Simply they will call it as either schedule of rates and sometimes SSR, that is standard schedule of rates. So even SOR is also correct. Okay, SOR is schedule of rates. Okay, so basically this I have taken some example. So the Public Works Department of every state government will release their SSR for every year. Okay, so this is how it will look, the front page of that particular thing. Okay, so these are some of the data that are required for estimating any kind of a building. So these are the major three things: drawings, detailed specifications, and standard schedule of rates. Okay, next. So the major purpose of estimation. What is the major purpose of estimation? So the major purpose is it gives an idea of the cost of the work and hence its feasibility can be determined. So as I said in the definition part itself, it will give the idea of the cost of the work. So it will become very easy for the contractor or the owner of that particular work to know how much will be the cost of that construction even before it is constructed. Okay, so that will give him a feasibility report. That means if the cost is going beyond, he can reduce it, or if the cost is very much less, he can move for an upper portion. So with the available funds, he could be able to take it or not. You can say next. Next purpose is it gives an idea of time required of the completion of the project. So again, along with the cost, time is very important. Okay. For example, if you can see the construction here, it is a apartment. So say G plus 5, G plus 10 or G plus 15. So when you are going for a long construction, time plays a very crucial role. Okay, time plays a crucial role. So in this kind of projects, time is an essential factor which we need to calculate before its construction. So at that time, estimation is very much essential. Okay, so along with cost, time is also an important factor for estimation. Next, it is required to invite the tenders and quotations to arrange contract. So this is also very, very important. So to invite the tenders and quotations. So say for example, government is giving some sort of lease of Polavaram Dam. Polavaram Dam, they are giving it like last time they went for another company, they changed it to another company again. So those are basically done under tenders and quotations. So these are done like, say for example, the dam is having so much area, and the specifications are this, and the cost is this. So like that, when the tenders are given and quotations are given, they will be finalizing the final member who is going to award the contract. So in this process, in order to get the tender or the quotation, for the person who is tendering it, we need to give the specification or the estimate of that particular thing. I mean, at least a draft copies. So for that also, at least we need to do the estimation. So it is also required for this tenders and quotation. Next, it is also required to control the expenditure during the execution of the work. It is very, very important. So when you are going for the expenditure part, when you are when you are going for the project, you can easily determine like at what stage you are and how much expenditure it is. Say for example, you are in the middle of the construction and you are almost 95% of your funds are almost completed, then you can imagine the rest of the part can't be completed. Okay, so with that available funds, what are the limitations you have, that can be estimated like this. Okay, so that is about the major things, right? Next, the breakdown of the estimation of a project. So see this, generally what happens is when you go for an estimation, normal estimation, normal estimation, what they will consider is, they will consider the cost of the land, they will consider the cost of the structure, and that too, if they can go, they will see the cost of the labor and cost of the materials. That's it. These four they will see: cost of the land, cost of the structure, cost of the labor, cost of the material. This is what the outsiders imagine. So we will talk about imagination versus reality. So this is the reality part, but the imagination is just the cost of the land, cost of the structure, and that too cost of the labor and cost of the materials. That's it. Estimation is that's it. So, but the thing is that it is not like that. So when it comes to the structure, it can be some see, the complete estimate is cost of the land, cost of the structure. Within that, there are some legal expenses between the owner and the contractor. Legal expenses in the sense, see, sometimes when a particular land is in a litigation or something, we need to say pay some extra money for that. So such kind of an expenses between an owner and contractor. It can be also some sort of brokerage charges, which is here also, but here also we can expect some brokerage charges. And next one is spending and contingencies. Contingencies is again unknown expenses. Contingencies, we can say it as unknown expenses. Generally, we will take it as 5% in an overall project. So unforeseen circumstances can happen. So for that also, we need to spend some sort of money. So coming to the cost of the land. So you know how whenever you buy a particular land, definitely there will be some sort of document thing in your register office. Okay, so where you are going to exchange some deeds. That is, it can be the particular files or particular. It can be partnership deed, something like that. So when you exchange that, here you are going to have this verification. Okay, so for this you need some sort of cost. Say for example, there will be a market value, there will be a book value. Market value is the value in the open market. Say for example, the book value is the the value of the government. So book value and market value will differ definitely. So based upon that, you need to pay some sort of taxes to the government. So that will be included in this. Next, cost of surveying. So when you buy a particular land, definitely there will be some costs involved in surveying. Again, the cost of the actual cost of the land, which will be the deduction from the taxes which you are paying to the government. Okay. Next, if any brokerages. So the cost of the land involves all these things, not the cost of the land alone. So in our estimation, we are going to see all the costs incurred in that particular area. Okay, in the cost of the land, all these things will be there. Next, coming to the cost of the structure, where we are considering only the cost of the labor and cost of the materials, there will be some sort of permit fees. Say for example, electricity charges we need to pay. You need to pay some water charges. Okay, these are all the things there are additional in addition with this cost of labor and cost of materials. Again, some consulting fees to the engineers. You will have an engineer or the designer who is going to make that. So for them also you are going to pay. So for the plans, estimates and designs, and the cost of supervision, which the contractor, basically the contractor will take this whole amount. So it depends on the type of a project. So generally, cost of the land, cost of the structure, cost of labor and cost of materials are usually considered. But along with this, all these things are considered when you are going to estimate a particular project. So this is a rough breakdown of a project. Okay. Standard units of measurement. Someone raised the hand. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Do you have any question? Yeah, good morning.
Once again, PS and contingencies.
Okay, very good.
PS.
Okay, I will explain. Okay. So contingencies are additional expenses which we can't figure out in a normal thing. Okay, contingencies cannot be stated as a say this much amount, that much amount, but those are additional expenses with respect to the estimate. Okay, and PS is the pendings. So it can be any kind of pending. Say for example, you don't have a particular document of your entire construction or a particular land. So if you, unless until you get that particular frame certificate or particular framework, you can't go further. Okay, so such kind of pendings, P's is pendings. Okay, generally the term is used in any kind of real estate things and normal construction works also. P's is simply the pendings.
సార్ టెండర్స్ టెండర్స్ లో మనం టైం కూడా క్యాలిక్యులేట్ చేస్తాం సార్. ఆ టెండర్స్ వేసినప్పుడు మనం
అవునమ్మా చేస్తాం.
అంటే ఇంత పర్టికులర్ టైంలోగా అవుతుందని మనం అక్కడ మెన్షన్ చేయాలా సార్?
If the project time exceeds, we will call it as time overrun, and if it is beyond the cost, we will call it as cost overrun. So the contractor or the particular person who is tendering that particular contract has to state that this much amount of money is stated for this many years. If at all, if it is not completed, initially they will take a security deposit from that particular person. So if at all, if he is not completing in that particular period, they are going to take that particular money. Okay, but the thing is that here, yes, time is a very crucial factor. And
sir, cost of verification of deeds and execution of deeds and sir.
Okay, very good question. Cost of verification of deeds and execution of deeds. Deed is an agreement between two parties. Say for example, you are selling your land to me. If you are selling land to me, then I need to make a document that yes, this person, son of so and so, having a land so much area, so he is going to sell it to me at a book value of this much. So for this, these are all deeds. Okay, so that deed is between you, the seller, and me, the buyer. Okay, so that deeds. Okay, I hope you get the point, right? So there will be a buyer and there will be a seller. Okay, for that verification and all, there will be the persons who are going to verify that particular thing. Okay, next one is the standard units of measurement. So basically all the items of work, various items of work that are present in the construction. Say for example, it can be concrete, it can be woodwork, it can be centering shuttering work, it can be woodwork in doors and windows, etc., etc. We know them, but the thing is that the exact measurement, how they are taking in a standard unit, okay, that we need to know. So before estimating the quantities, how much amount of quantity, we need to know how they are measured. I mean their standard units. Okay, so the major things which we need to take measurements are these: the excavation parts, the foundation parts, plinth means plinth beam, and dam proof course, DPC, which will lay for protection of protection from water entering into the foundation part. And the next one is roofing, next walls, openings, stairs, floor, and surfaces or finishes. So these are various things which we are knowing about, which we are going to learn about in buildings. Okay, see, the thing is that there might be some other things in industries or special constructions, the various units of measurement. But the thing is that as far as our syllabus is concerned, we are only talking about the major components which are there in a building. So that is the major reason we have only considered these things. Okay, so these are some of the major items of work in a construction which are very much useful for determining the various quantities and various rates of particular items of work. Okay, so if you can see this first part, first one is earthwork. Earthwork is just excavating something or filling something. Okay, so it can be earthwork or rock work or sand work. Sand work in the sense sand filling or sand excavating. Okay, you know sand, how they are being excavated in quarries. Okay, sand quarries. Similarly rock in normal quarries. Okay, earthwork is a normal earthwork which we can take here. We can see the earthwork excavation. Okay, so this can be excavation, or it can be filling, or it can be filling in plinth, whatever it might be. It can be rock work in excavation or sand work in excavation, anything. It is measured in cubic meters. Okay, meter cube. Okay, cubic meters. All these three are measured in cubic meters. So coming to the concrete part. If it is lime concrete in foundation, lime concrete is cement concrete and lime concrete are one and the same. But the thing is that here we are going to use lime. You know the difference between lime and cement. Okay, lime is one of the part of a cement. Okay, in lime it is the only part. Okay, cement is having a lot of ingredients. In that, lime is one of the part. So if you are using lime concrete in foundation, cement concrete in lintels or foundation. Okay, lintels, you know lintels, right? So lintels or in RCC slabs or in any kind of sunshades, sajjas or RCC structures. Okay, in all these things, if you are using, we will state that in cubic meters. Okay, next, this is very important. So here we are using it in square meters. So lean concrete in roof terracing, thickness specified. That means lean concrete in the sense the thickness will be very, very less in roof terracing. Roof terracing in the sense where we are going to go for this stuff. The top portion will be a tile part, and you can see in the old constructions, lean concrete will be very, very thin. Okay, చాలా తక్కువ thickness లో ఉంటుందని. So when this thickness is specified, once you are taking the thickness is specified, here I will write. See, if you are taking L as length, B as breadth, and H as height. Here the length will be in meters, breadth will be in meters, height will be in meters. Okay, similarly for these three. Okay, meters. So the same thing is for this also. When you are coming for lean concrete, here they are specifying the thickness. Here thickness is breadth. Okay, breadth, or sometimes it can be height. Okay, so there will be either length or height or breadth. Okay, it depends. Okay, say for example, here I am taking length and breadth. There won't be any unit for height. The reason is there won't be anything for height. The reason is here the thickness is specified in that particular thing. Say they will say roof terracing, within the bracket they will give 2.5 centimeters thick. 2.5 centimeters thick means the height of that particular thing is 2.5 centimeters. So you need not take the height part into the quantity. Okay, already they are specified. So for that you need to take only the length and breadth. You don't need to take the height, because 2.5 centimeters thick has been specified already. Okay, it doesn't mean that it doesn't have a thickness. It has a thickness, but that is mentioned in your quantity itself. In the initial quantity itself they will mention, and that is the reason why they are going to they are not going to include that in your units. Okay, so this will be in square meters. Next, cement concrete bed. It can be in anything. Cement concrete bed or CC bed will call. So for that also we will use large boulders. Even in that case also we are going to use it as cubic meters. Okay, even for reinforced concrete, sunshades or lintels, almost these kind of things does have cubic meters. Okay, so the thickness will be specified here, and that is the reason why we are going to get it square meters. Okay, next, DPC is damp proof course. Okay, here again thickness will be mentioned. Say for example, they will say it as 2.5 centimeters thick. So when they say 2.5 centimeters thick, you need not give the height of that particular thing. So you need not give the thickness. You can just give meters and length as meters. Okay. Generally this will be the ground level. Okay, so this is the ground level, and this part is the excavated part. Okay, this entire part. So this is earthwork excavation. This is earthwork excavation. I am giving you the front view. Okay, this is the earthwork excavation part. So this part need to be excavated. So here you are going to get the length part. Okay, when you are going for the top, you are going to get the breadth, and here you are going to get the height, h. Okay, h, l. So this is the cross section of that particular building. Okay, a particular foundation of the cross section under. So where you are going to get the length and height. Similarly, if you want a top view, okay, so this is the foundation part. Okay, the excavation part. This is the excavated part. The front view is like this, which I said earlier in the last figure, which I said. So here we are going to get the length. Here you are going to get the height. Okay, so from here you are going to get the breadth from the top view. Okay, so length, breadth and height. So length and height can be obtained from the cross section. Okay, whereas the breadth, the other dimension, is obtained from the plan. So for us it is not the single view, and the reason for me stating what are the requirements for getting the data for an estimate, where I said drawings include plan, cross section, elevation, everything. Okay, so in the plan part you are going to get one dimension, or it sometimes two dimensions. Okay, in the cross section part you are going to get the other two dimensions. So length, breadth and height is obtained like this. So for excavation part it is like this. So this is for earthwork excavation, EE. Next one is foundation concrete. So for foundation concrete, if you can see the same diagram almost. So this is the excavated part. Okay, so the foundation concrete will be up to somewhere here. This is concrete. Okay, so this is foundation concrete. So what is what is this? This will be your length or breadth or height? Length. Okay, and this will be your height now. This is your height. Okay, so again from the plan again I'm drawing. This is the entire foundation part. Okay, similarly this way you are going to get the breadth again. So length into breadth into height is again the quantity. So the quantity is in meter cube here and also meter cube here. So this is earthwork excavation and this is foundation concrete. Okay, so this is earthwork excavation, this is foundation concrete. Similarly, you are going to get first footing, second footing, third footing. Okay, so how it will look, I will show it to you. If you are taking this as a foundation part, this will be your first footing, this will be your second footing, and the top portion, okay, which is almost equal to the ground level. Okay, which is almost equal to, this represent ground level, you know it. Okay, so this level, okay, we will call this as plinth. We will call this as plinth or plinth beam simply. Okay, so this is foundation, this is first footing, this is second footing, this is third footing, and then we got it as plinth. Okay, so this plinth beam, okay, for this plinth beam what they will do is, okay, so the top portion of this, okay, the top portion of this is filled with a ink, a kind of a chemical mixed with or cement concrete. We will call it as DPC, damp proof course, dampness. The water from the foundation will enter into your columns or your the flooring part. So for that, what they will do is they will seal this part. Okay, they will call it as DPC, and generally this is 2.5 centimeters thick. 2.5 centimeters thick. So with this thickness here, the thickness is mentioned, and we are going to get the length and breadth. Okay, so this is foundation part, first footing, second footing, third footing, and then plinth, and then DPC. Okay, this is a common structure even for a load bearing wall or an RCC framed building. Okay, if it is an RCC framed building, the entire part is made of concrete. Okay, if they are completely made of, except the foundation part, everything is made of brick masonry. You know brick masonry, right? So this foundation is completely of, again, concrete. So this is a load bearing wall. Okay, this is an RCC framed structure, so where everything will be of concrete. Okay, here the top portions, except the foundation concrete part, this foundation concrete and this foundation concrete are one and the same. Okay, so the top portions here, it will be made of brick masonry, here it is made of concrete. That is the only difference. Okay, when you are seeing the cross section. Okay, so I think everyone have seen now this DPC, right? So there won't be any kind of height. There will be only length and breadth. Okay, so this is also measured in square meters. Done. The next one is brick work, that is brick masonry work. This thing. Okay, so when you are talking about brick work, if it is in foundation, which I have discussed now, which we are taking length as meters, breadth as meters, and height as meters. Okay, the same way for brickwork in plinth, it can be plinth or first footing or second footing, doesn't matter. So if it is brickwork, it has to be in meter cube. Okay, if it is in superstructure, unlike the one which I have shown, the upper portion, the bottom portion which I have shown now, which is substructure, and the top portion, superstructure, is the masonry walls which you are seeing. Okay, masonry walls which you are seeing, that will have a length, that will have a breadth, that will have a height. So we need to take the 3 dimensions, hence it is in meter cube. Next, thin partition walls, honeycombed brickwork. Okay, this we will call it as thatched bricks. Okay, and that will be of very thin. Okay, see, the nominal size of a brick is 19 by 9 by 9 centimeter. Okay, you know that. But the thing is that there are other bricks 19 by 9 by 1. Okay, which are very, very thin. We will use that for small partitions. Say for example, for shelves. For shelves, we will use thin partition walls. Okay, you have shelves, right, at your home. So for that, we will use thin partitions. For that, thickness won't be considered. Okay, so here see, thickness specified. They will say 2 centimeters or 2.5 centimeters thick. That's it. That is enough. So thickness won't be specified, and again meters and meters. So there won't be any kind of unit here, and hence it is in square meters. Next, brickwork in arches. So even in arches, okay, even in arches, the units are meter by meter by meter. Okay, so thickness won't be specified here, because in arches we can't determine the thickness. Some will be very large, some will be very less. Okay, depending upon that, thickness should also be taken. Okay, next is reinforced brickwork. Reinforced brickwork in the sense, we are going to use steel in our brickwork. Okay, so that means in between the layers of 2 bricks. Okay, if your reinforcement is used, we'll call it as reinforced brickwork. We can use it anywhere. Basically, these type of works are done where the loads from the top portion slabs are very high. Okay, whenever the load from that is very high, or the particular wall should bear some sort of pressures from the outside. Okay, in such kind of structure they are going to have reinforced brickwork. We can take bank locker, locker room of bank as an example for it. But the thing is that they will go entirely for reinforced cement concrete sometimes like that. So such kind of strong rooms, etc. required this brickwork. So hence they will use the same meter by meter by meter. That is in meter cube. Okay, cubic meter again. So this is about the brickwork. So this is a simple brick masonry work which I am showing. So next is the similarly stone work. Stone and brickwork are almost the same. The only thing is that bricks are replaced with stone. Okay, if it is stone masonry or brick masonry, you can blindly say it is in meter cube. The units are in meter cube. So if it is wall facing or wall lining, the example for it is when you are going for a large type of buildings or large constructions, the front portion where you find the gate, the next to it, the wall is simply attached with some tile-like structures similar to that of stones. Okay, so we will call it as stone facings or stone wallings. So there we are going to take the dimensions as the entire length and the height, not the breadth. Okay, so when you are not taking the breadth, here you are going to take height as meters and length as meters, and you are going to get the unit as square meters. Okay, so this is about brick stone masonry work. Coming to woodwork, doors, windows, frames, chowkats. Chowkat in the sense the framework, entire framework of your door. Okay, manam gummam antam kadandi telugulo. So that one. Okay, chowkats, rafters or beams. Rafters or beams is trusses. In trusses we have rafters and beams. I think you learned it in BMC, building materials and constructions. Rafters and beams. Okay, in the olden days they used to construct buildings by using these woodwork. Okay, so then they used to use rafters and beams. So even that also we have it in meter cube. Okay, so it is very simple. When the quantity is specifying the thickness, the unit will be mostly in meter square. You remember that. Say for example, DPC 2.5 centimeters thick. If in the exam, if they give DPC 2.5 centimeters thick, that means you need not mention the thickness. For that thickness, how much amount of length and breadth? They want the area, not the volume. Okay, they want just the area, because they know that 2.5 centimeters thick is the original dimension. So you need not mention that in your units. Okay, so when coming to shutters, panel doors and windows. Shutters, you know, even it can be rolling shutters or normal shutters. For that shutters, what they will see, they will see the length and again the height, not the breadth again. So breadth won't be there. There will be height and the length. Okay, again it is measured in square meters. Woodwork in partition. Partitions in the sense you can see the work here. So you can see the work here. The guy who is taking this is plywood actually. Okay, so we have he is doing some sort of flooring here. Okay, when he is doing flooring here, length will be there, breadth will be there, there won't be height. Okay, when he is doing the wall, there will be length, there will be height, there won't be breadth. When you are taking such kind of a dimension, okay, woodwork in partitions, it can be partition walls, it can be used for dividing two rooms. Okay, so when you are dividing two rooms, there you are going to put some plywood or chipboard or cardboard or something like that. Even for that also, you are going to consider the length and breadth and not the thickness. Okay, so the same way, where the partition is going to be. If the partition is going to be on a wall, if it is on a wall, there won't be breadth. If it is on a floor, then length and breadth will be there. There won't be height. Okay, it depends on where the partition is going on. Okay, so length. So here I am talking about the flooring part. So that's why I'm taking length and breadth as meters and meters. There won't be unit for height there. So this is also in square meters. Next, doors and window fittings. So hinges. Okay, it can be bolts for that, tower bolts for that, sliding bolts, handles. Everything will be in numbers. Okay, they won't have any units like meters or meter square. Okay, their units will be completely numbers. Next, steel work. So generally, these rod benders, when they are doing the steel work, it can be for slabs, it can be for beams or columns, etc. Almost all the reinforced concrete works are completely in quintals. 100 kgs is 1 quintal, and if it is 1 ton, then it is 1000 kgs. Okay, so 1 ton is 1000 kgs and 1 quintal is 100 kgs. So based upon that, we can convert. Say for example, if you are taking binding wire you can't take in quintals. Okay, then you need to do it in kgs. Kgs to tons, kgs to quintal conversion we can do it. Okay, so in this way the conversions will be there. The conversions will be there for anything. But the major works which they are doing the reinforced works, there they are going to take it in quintals. Okay, it can be steel reinforcement for any kind of reinforced brickwork or RCC frameworks. It is like that. Next, bending, binding of steel reinforcement, normal steel reinforcement. Okay, even for that also they are taking in quintals. And rivets, bolts, nuts, they can't be taken in, even sometimes they can be taken in numbers. Okay, but again it is depending upon their weight. Okay, here the crucial factor is weight, not length, breadth or height. When you are talking about steel, you need to talk only about the weight of that particular material. Okay, next, coming to a particular material of this steel, say iron hold fast. Okay, if they hold fastings or iron railings. Okay, you can see it in particular see rolling shutters, iron grills. Okay, in that part, here we are going to take it in square meters, whereas for railings or fast holdings, all these are taken in numbers. Okay, so the major parts will take it in quintals. And some of the vendors, what they will do is, even these also they will put weight and they will give it in quintals or kgs. Okay, it depends on the consumer. It depends on the consumer and the contract. Okay. Okay. Next is rolling shutters and iron grills. You know it. Iron grills, whenever you have it at your home also sometimes, and you know the rolling shutter part. Rolling shutter part, they won't take the thickness again. Okay. So if it is rolling shutter, there will be length, there will be height, there won't be breadth. So I will write it here. So quinta, it is simply kgs or quinta. Okay. I am not writing anything here, but here I am writing. If you are taking rolling shutter, or collapsible gate, you can see it in our civil department. In our civil department, they have collapsible gates at the ends of the doors. Okay, so square meters, here we are going to have length, and then you are going to have height. There won't be breadth. Okay, again here thickness should be specified. Here also thickness should be specified, so that length and height will be there, and the unit is square meters. Okay, so see, the basic thing is that you can study the definitions and all, that is okay, but the thing is that you need to know more about the units. Units are very, very essential. Okay, next one is roofing. So the roof can be of any type. It can be of RCC type, or it can be lean concrete type. As I said earlier, here we have seen lean concrete. Here, lean concrete is in square meters. So similarly, if you are using the same lean concrete as your roofing material, it is also in square meters. If you are using RCC and RB slab, obviously it will be in cubic meters. So it is meter by meter by meter. Okay. Lean concrete is, the thickness won't be mentioned, m by m. Height won't be there. Length and breadth will be there. Centering and shuttering formwork. So the one which you are seeing here is centering and shuttering formwork. Okay. So centering and shuttering can be aluminium work, it can be wood work or steel work, doesn't matter. So it will be in the length and breadth, not the thickness. Okay. The area will be measured, not the thickness. So centering and shuttering also it is in meters and meters. They won't measure the height, length and breadth. That's it. Okay. Next, even AC sheet. AC sheet is asbestos sheet, asbestos cement sheet. So the one which our workshops, our labs, SOM lab, all these are made of AC sheets. Okay, asbestos cement sheets. Okay, sometimes GI sheets, galvanized iron sheets. Okay, or timber, tiled or thatched roofing. All these roofings. Okay, all these are in square meters. The only reason is length and breadth will be measured, thickness won't be measured. So similarly, it is meter by meter. Okay, so this is something about roofing. Plastering, pointing and finishing. Okay, so these are some finished works. So plastering, mostly these all things doesn't have thickness. That means that doesn't have thickness in the sense doesn't have some priority. Say for example, what I will say is I want a plastering of 12 mm, I want a plastering of 10 mm. So thickness will be specified. Whenever there is a thickness specified, you no need to bring that into consideration. Remember, when it is for a wall, then the length will be taken, the height will be taken, not the breadth. If it is on a floor, the length will be taken, the breadth will be taken, not the height. Okay, so it all depends on where you are using. So you need to be very careful. If it is a roof, it will be different. If it is a wall, it will be different. Okay, so plastering work for floor, it will be different. Say for example, I will always treat plastering as a wall. So length will be there, height will be there, there won't be breadth. Okay, that is the thickness of that particular portion is to be specified. Okay, here you can see the thickness of the of this portion should be specified. Similarly, pointing. So you know pointing, right? The pointings are some sort of projections into your concrete made. Even that also we will take it in meter square. Okay. Again, it all depends on where you are doing, whether you are doing it on a wall or a floor. Okay. Next, whitewashing and color washing. This I need not mention because paint doesn't have any sort of thickness. So if you are going for painting on a wall, then the length will be there, the height will be there. There won't be any kind of thickness. This we shouldn't mention it as thickness. Here we should specify as number of coats. Say for example, generally a color wash, if you want to make a color wash for that particular wall, first we need to go for a whitewash and then we need to go for a color wash. What we will do is they will go for 3 coats of color wash plus single coat of 3 coats of whitewash and single coat of color wash or double coat of color wash. Okay, so totally it is 3 coats of whitewash. It costs something. It is also in meter square. 2 layers of or 2 coats of again color washing. They are also in meter square, but the cost of this is different and cost of this is different. Okay, so we need to consider the units of measurement for either whitewash or color wash. Okay, individually for that particular thing we need to specify in our quantity whether this is coated with how many number of layers. So layers does matter here, not the thickness. Thickness won't be there in any kind of paint or distemper or varnishing. These three things, there won't be the breadth. Okay, if it is on a wall, again I'm saying if it is on a wall there won't be breadth. Okay, the same kind of thing will be there for all these 3. Okay, so the area is completely in meter square. The quantity will be, sorry, not the area, the quantity will be entirely in meter square. So this is about plastering and finishing. So coming to the flooring, so if it is a cement concrete floor over 75 mm lime concrete, and sometimes they will say including lean concrete. Okay, if they say lean concrete, whenever you heard the word lean, it is in square meters. Okay, and also here 75 mm, 25 mm cement concrete. That means they are specifying the thickness of that. 25 mm is cement concrete layer and 75 mm is lime concrete layer. That means they will see like this. This is a cement concrete layer. which is 25 mm thick, and this is a lime concrete layer. Okay, so this is 25 mm thick and this is 75 mm thick. So the thickness is already mentioned here. So you need to take the length and breadth. Okay, so that is the reason why we have taken it is in square meter. Similarly, 25 mm or 40 mm cement concrete floor, not the combination floors like this, but only the normal floor, only this. Okay, 25 mm or 40 mm. So cement concrete floor, even that also thickness is mentioned, and that's why it is in square meters. Okay, next, doors and window sills. Sills in Telugu we will call it as gummam, right? The bottom portion we'll call it as gummam, window sills. So for that also, if you want to go for a CC cement concrete or cement mortar. Cement mortar is the combination of cement plus sand. Okay, if you want to go for this, then we need to do it in square meters. We won't again here we won't take the thickness into consideration. Okay, so that is it. So here I can write meters by meters. Thickness won't be there. That is height. As it is flooring, I am not specifying the height. You can clearly see. For flooring, I am doing this. If it is on walls, brickwork here, walls. Here I haven't mentioned the height here. So the same way here also. Okay. Next is rainwater pipes, which are PVC pipes. We will see polyvinyl chloride pipes or plain pipes or electrical wires. All these are in running meters. Okay, RM is running meters. So we will take it in running meters. Here we won't consider any length, breadth, or height, something like that. We will take only one thing, that is the length, the entire running meter length of that particular wire or pipe. Okay. If it is steel wooden truss, we will take it in numbers. Again, if it is glass panels, we will take it in square meters. Fixing of glass panels or cleaning, we will take them as numbers. Surface dressing and leveling, again we will take it as square meters. And if it is blasting of rocks, in the first part I have said if it is rock work, anything it will be in meter cube. Okay, meter by meter by meter, so it will be in meter cube. So these blasting of rocks or surface dressing and leveling of stone. Okay, leveling of stone. Okay, that is in square meters. Okay, we won't specify the thickness again here. Okay, even for plastering of rocks, it is in cubic meters. Coping or brick course or weathered course or cornice or brickage. So these are the terms which we use for brick masonry work. That too on the elevations part. At the elevations edges, we are going to use some sort of course work where the thickness won't be specified. Okay, thickness won't be specified. So for that part, what we will take is even the height won't be taken. Only the running meter length will be taken again for that also. Okay. So this is a special case. I don't think that this will be considered in our examination. Just for namesake, I'm telling this. So this will be in meters. Okay. So I'm just giving CUM is cubic meters, SQM is square meters, RM is running meters. Okay. So this is about the units of measurement of different items of work. So this portion I'm going to share it in your my college learning app. So no need to worry. So we have almost seen the measurements of different items of work. So if at all, say for example, if stairs is not discussed, that means it is similar to that of your roof foundation work. So today's lecture ended like this. So these are the lecture outcomes which you have achieved. So you are able to define estimation and costing and state the importance and purpose of estimation. You have found the data required to prepare an estimate, that is the drawings, the detailed specifications, and the SSR reports. So by this we can find out the data. So we have found this, and the work breakdown structure of estimation. So what are the various kinds of subdivisions there are in buying a land, in constructing a building? So various amounts of things which I have seen. So that we have seen in this breakdown structure. Okay. Next, choosing the units of measurement for different items of work. So this is what we have discussed at the end. So in the Excel sheet. So I have discussed all these 5 lecture outcomes. Okay. So these are the references which I have used. I have used PN Datta and PN Suresh estimation costing, and another PDF where I used it for taking the portion of units of measurement. Okay. So thank you.